Hello friends, welcome back to Kurt Berglund's Baseball World. Couple of things. Today we're going to do a vintage Statis Pro game. I want to show you about some cards, what I'm observing about the vintage cards. And I also want to talk to you about things going on in my membership part of my channel. Remember that if you want to become a member, you're interested in becoming a member, click on Kurt Berglund's Baseball World on the YouTube screen. You'll be taken to my channel homepage, and then if you click on Join, you'll see all the things there that you get as being a member, part of being a member of my channel. I'm running 2 polls next week for members only. One is to help me choose the World Series that I'm going to replay next month. This month I'm working on 1976 for members only. Next month I'm running a poll starting on Monday to determine the World Series I'll be replaying for next month. And also I'm running a poll starting on Monday. I'm going to be starting the process of comparing different sims in different ways. And I'm going to run a poll giving 6 or 7 different options for what part of a sim you'd like me to compare starting next month. Bunting, hit and run, pitching differences, the suicide squeeze, a whole lot of different options for you to choose from. And I'll be working through all of them in the months to come on the members part of my channel. So if you've not become a member yet and you would like to get in on it, this is how you do it. Click on Kurt Berglund's Baseball World and then click on the Join button and you'll get all the membership details. Today, I want to show you some things that I'm learning about vintage Statis Pro cards. I made another eBay purchase, and I want to show you what I'm seeing. And then we'll do a few innings of a game to show you again how it works on dice. If you'd like to get the charts that I am using, I'd be happy to send you a PDF. Just send me with the charts for dice only, Statis Pro. Send me an email to berglund.kurt@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to send you the dice-only charts that you need. You do need a pair of D8 dice to do the dice-only version, and you need 3 D6 dice. If you've got those dice and the charts and some teams, you're ready to go. Now today I am working on a game between, and I'm just kind of working through some stuff, seeing what I've got here. I purchased the 1979 vintage Statis Pro season, and in that season in that box, I also got a copy of the 1980 Oakland A's. So I want to show you those and what the differences look like between the cards. And I also want to show you what can happen when you buy vintage Statis Pro cards. And then we'll get to the game. Let's take a look at this now. What you see in front of you is the difference between the pitcher cards in the 1979 set and the 1980 set. First we see, of course, very clearly the use of color. The pitcher cards for the 1980 set are in green. But the cards are organized differently, so you'll see that the card for 1980 has very clearly an error rating marked and a C clutch defense rating marked for their double play possibilities. And those things are not present. Those were new additions for the 1980 version, apparently. So we have both an error rating for the pitcher and a clutch defense rating for the pitcher. Those did not exist in the 1979 version. So other than that, we have the 3 ratings across the top. We have the usual. And then we have the start and relief appearances here. So Rick Russell had 36 starts and no relief appearances. Mike Norris had 33 starts in 1980 with no relief appearances. In 1979, they put the team name at the bottom. In 1980, they put it at the top. But other than that, you're pretty much the same. So you see a rule change or an expansion of detail in the system here for the 1980 cards. Now let's take a look at the batter cards. The changes here are primarily cosmetic. So you have the 1979 card on your left. It's Mick Kelleher, Jeff Newman on the right. I intentionally chose cards to look at here that have multi-position players so that you can see that one of the things about vintage Statis Pro is that there are separate error ratings for each position. It's not a standard error number that applies to all positions. Okay, so team name and season at the top and the 1980 set, team name and season at the bottom here, but everything else is the same. Clutch batting rating at the bottom, clutch batting rating at the bottom, clutch defense rating on the second line and across with sacrifice and injuries, and then the OBR, the SP, and the HR across the top. So these are, and of course your bat, which way they bat, and do they have power in the lower right corner. Font is a little bit bigger in 1980, which is interesting. All right, now I want to show you something that can happen when you purchase a set that you may not be ready for, so you got to watch out for that. So when I bought the Statis Pro, the vintage Statis Pro set that you see in front of you online, one of the things that I was surprised at was when I opened up the box, I've got all these cards. There are several. There's not a lot, but there's a few dozen that are white, have whiteout, and I'm wondering, what happened here? And what looks like happened is that there have been two previous owners. One wiped out the original ratings and then wrote underneath, and then the second owner whited out over the whiteout and corrected the cards. So, for example, this is Ralph Garr's card, actually, from the original vintage set. But his name was whited out by the first owner, and the second owner came in and whited out over the whiteout and wrote in Ralph Garr. He wrote in the appropriate outfield error information, throwing rating, and the DH games. And then reconfigured all of the ratings in the two lines below his name here. And then in some cases had to redo the numbers for the batter card. Now in this case he didn't, except that the original owner changed it to a right-handed batter, obviously, and he had to change it back to Ralph Garr being a left-handed batter. He whited out the original team name, and so the second owner had to fill that information in as well. So you might say to yourself, well, Kurt, how do you know? How do you know that the numbers are right that the second owner put in? And I know that because in the instructions for Statis Pro, they give you the information that you need to rate the batters and rate the pitchers so you can do the cards as you want to do. So let's take a closer look at that. But you're going to see, if you purchase a vintage set, you may likely see the possibility that there's some whiteout going on. You may need to make some corrections. That doesn't especially terrify me because I've done card grading in the past and card creating in the past, and it's kind of fun. But if you're not into that, you really have to make sure that you're verifying the condition of the cards that you're purchasing. This is a little more distanced view of the original Statis Pro instructions. And on the third page of the instructions, they start with the information that you need to be able to rate your own cards. Now, this is one of the cool things about Statis Pro is that, well, two things. One, they give you the formulas here to figure out how to do it. If you're interested in me walking you through that, I would be happy to do so. Just tell me in the comments, and I will create a video that breaks that out, and it's a very easy process. For both batter and pitcher cards, there are formulas to follow. There's a few categories where you've got to make some judgment calls, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward to create either the pitcher card that you want to make or the batter cards that you're interested in making. Pretty easy process, doesn't take very long. And the data, you know, is 1980, 1979, 1981 type data. So there's nothing that's very exotic. If you have a baseball, you don't even need baseball reference. If you have a baseball encyclopedia, you've probably got enough, except maybe for the error ratings. I don't know. I don't remember if baseball encyclopedias have fielding percentage broken out by position. It might. But other than that, everything else is in the baseball encyclopedia, and you could use that to create your cards. It's kind of a fun thing to do. But, so when I opened up the cards and I saw Ralph Garr with some stuff whited out, I thought, well, wait a minute. How do we know these are right? And with these instructions, I can double check the ratings that I want to. Fortunately, the second owner of this set went back and he did it the right way. So there's very few changes that I've noticed that I've wanted to make so far. So all good there, but it's something to watch out for. If you are buying a vintage set, get a picture of the condition of the cards and find out if there's whiteout on the cards, because if you have this information, you can make corrections, but this information also encouraged people to do the whiteout thing and make their own cards, and you might have a mess on your hands if that is the kind of thing that bothers you. All right, so with no further ado, let's get to today's game. This particular game is a dice-only version of Statis Pro. I am just playing around with this random set of 1980 Oakland A's. Can't do a replay because I don't have the 1980 set. I just have this one team. So I pulled a 1979 team to play against him. It's the 1979 Cubs. We're going to the top of the sixth. Mike Norris and Rick Russell are the opposing pitchers in this game. The A's have a 4-0 lead. The scoring obviously has been all Oakland so far. In the second inning, Wayne Gross reached on an error, and then with 2 outs, Mike Heath singled into third, and Dave McKay singled Gross home for a 1-0 Oakland lead. In the third, Ricky Henderson hit a leadoff double, and 1 out later, Tony Armas hit a 2-run homer for a 3-0 Oakland lead. And then, in the fourth, with 1 out, Dave McKay doubled, and 1 out later, Ricky Henderson hit a 2-out RBI single to bring McKay home, and that brought the 4 runs to Oakland. For the Cubs, they've been pretty well shut down by Mike Norris. He's faced 18 batters in 5 innings. He's allowed 3 hits. He's walked 1. He's struck out 4. Rick Russell is still in the game for the Cubs, and Norris is still on the mound for Oakland. All right, to show you again how the Statis Pro dice version works. So we're going to show you this. First we have to roll the 3d6s. And that puts us a 1-6. That puts us on the pitcher's card because the 2 white dice add up to between 2 and 8. The 1 tells us we're going to need to make an error check. So we're going to be rolling on Norris's card with our 2 D8 dice. And we rolled an 87. So we look on the out chart because an 87 falls in Norris's out range. We look on the out chart for the dice-only version, and we have a 42. Now, DeJesus is a right-handed normal batter, and we have a 42. And so that's a line drive at Wayne Gross, and there's one down in the Cubs' sixth, and that's just how easy it is to do Statis Pro with dice. Ted Sizemore coming up now. He's 0 for 2. Oh, we didn't do our error check, did we? Well, normally I don't do an error check on lineouts because it's tough to make a lineout, an error on a lineout, but I'm going to show you how it works anyway in this case. So you see how easy an error check is with the dice-only version. Wayne Gross is our third baseman in question. He is an E5. As you can see next to his 99 games at third base, and then he has an E5 rating. Well, if we go to the error check chart, we see that an E5 goes from a roll of 11 to 27 on the D8 dice. So if we roll between 11 and 27 inclusive, Gross is going to make an error. So let's see if he does on the lineout. He does not. He caught it. If he did make an error, we would need to re-roll the D8s and see what type of error it was. And then look up here, and this would give us a text version of what the error involved. And it's that simple. Those are your error checks on the dice version of the game. All right, Ted Sizemore is up against Norris. The pitch from Mike is a 1-6, so we know we have an error check again. We have a 6 on the white dice, so that puts us on Norris's card. And it's a 27. Hey, struck him out. And that is 2 down, no error check needed. And there are 5 strikeouts now for Norris. Buckner up. Billy Buck is 1 for 2. The pitch to him is a 5-8. So there's no error check, and the 8 tells us we're still on Norris's card. 57 is on the out range. Buckner is an LN. A 41. And a 41 is a line out to second. So Dave McKay makes that play, and there's no scoring for the Cubs in the 6th. They are 1, 2, 3 retired by Norris. So Russell's back out for the bottom of the 6th. He'll face Jeff Newman, Mike Heath, and Dave McKay. For Billy Ball A's first season of Billy Ball in Oakland. Newman's 0 for 2 against Russell. Pitch from Rick is a 1-9, so we've got an error check. The 9 tells us it's not in Russell's range of 2 through 7. So we know we're on Newman's card. Hello, Newman. And we have a strikeout. So no error check needed. We have a strikeout, and that is out number 1. All right, Heath coming up. Mike Heath. Russell's pitch is a 6-3. Now, if there was a batter on, if there was a base runner on, we would be doing a clutch defense check, but there's not. The 3 falls in Russell's range, so we're going to be on Rick's card. And it's a 61. That's in the out range of Rick's card, so it's an RN for Heath. And a 24 is our roll. He hits it on the ground to Ted Sizemore, who's up with it and throws to Bill Buckner for the out. And there's 1 gone, or 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th. That'll bring up Dave McKay, who's 2 for 2 and kind of the offensive hero of the day for Oakland. 4-4-4 is a triple result. So if we have a triple result, we go to Z chart. 3 of the same D6s. So we roll our D8s, and we have a 34, and we look on the triple chart. Only when a man is at first, the runner is out stealing second, he argues and is ejected. So now we're going to just re-roll because that doesn't apply because there's nobody on first. Russell's next delivery to McKay is on McKay's card because it's a 10, and that's too high for Russell. So McKay swings, and it's going to be on Dave's out chart. He's going to be an LN. He's a switch hitter, but he's going to be an LN against the right-handed Russell. And a 43. It's hit on the ground to Sizemore, and that will retire the side. So we've played 6, and it's Oakland 4, Chicago nothing. Kingman, Ontiveros, and Martin coming up in the Cubs' 7th against Norris. Norris has allowed 4 base runners and no runs, so he has 4 points in his reduction process. He can go 13 before what happens after starting with 14. All of the readings will be taken off a batter's card no matter what. So Norris is in good shape that way. Russell, on the other hand, 10, 12, 13. He's at 13. And his limit is 15 before starting with the 16th run, walk, base hit, hit by pitch. Then all of the readings will be read off of the Oakland hitting card. So it would be time to get him out of there. Kingman will lead off here in the 7th against Norris. Norris's pitch is a 1-7, so that's on his card. With the 7, the 1 tells us we'll be making an error check. 73 is on Norris's out range. Kingman is an RP. He's got power. 82 for an RP is hit to center field, deep to center. Dwayne Murphy's going to make the catch, or is he? We have to do the error check for Dwayne. He is an E4. And so we consult our error chart. The E4 takes errors from 11 to 24 on the D8s. So that we take our 2 D8s and we roll. And we get a 16, and he did indeed make an error. Now we have to see what kind of error it was. So we re-roll, and it's another 18. He made an error type 3. Right there on the chart, you can see that. And it's a muffed ball with less than 2 outs. Runners advance only 1 base. If only a forced with 2 outs, OBR or A or B advance 2 bases. Others advance 1 base. So it's going to be an E8, and that will put Kingman at first. There are no runners on base. And now Ontiveros. Okay. So now Ontiveros is up. Kingman at first, nobody out, top of the 7th. Norris's delivery is a 7. So it's on his card. At 2, we don't have an error check or anything funny going on there. So we look at Norris's card, and we rolled a 45. Now the 45 is in the wild pitch rating of Mike's card, and so he throws a wild pitch to the screen that gets by Heath, and Kingman moves to second base. Now Norris is going to pitch again. 3-6 will be on Norris's card. 42 is in the walk range, so he walks him. Now I don't deduct from Norris's stamina for an error, but I do for a walk. So it's 5. He's up to 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're watching that. The Cubs have 2 on with Jerry Martin coming to the plate. Jerry's 1 for 2. The pitch from Norris is a 2-4. That'll be on Norris's card. And it's a 63. That's on the out range. Martin is an RP. And it's a 32 for the RP. That's hit on the ground to third to Wayne Gross. Now we look and see what happens when there are runners at first and second. And so what happens is Gross picks it up and fires to McKay at second base for the force out. In parentheses, it tells us the runner on second moves to third and the batter goes to first. 2-3, so the runner on second goes to third. B, batter, -1 goes to first, and the putout is 5-4. So Oakland gets a fielder's choice out of it. Ontiveros is retired 5-4. Kingman goes to third, and Martin beats the Rap at first. Cubs have men at first and third now with one out, and here's Ken Henderson. A's defense is going to play at double play depth. The pitch from Norris is a 1-8, so it's going to be on Norris's card. We have a error check, and it's a 76, so it's in Norris's out range. Henderson is an LN batter, 34. GX4. A GX4. The X, I'll tell you what that means in a minute. We saw it just a moment ago. We have runners at first and third with the infield back. So it's going to be McKay flipping to Piccolo for one, and the relay to first is not going to be in time. They were at double play depth. First and third B means they're back. So McKay flips to Piccolo. Kingman will score from third, and Henderson will reach first safely. 4-6 is the putout on Martin. So the X, when you see the X, that tells you there's a fielder's choice if it happens. If it can happen, there will be a fielder's choice at second base. The A tells you the base runners will advance, and the out is going to be at first. If it's just a normal ground out, they're getting a double play if they can turn it, if there's a runner on first. If there's a runner on first, they're turning it. Again, if the infield's back, you can position the infield back or in. So, coming back, we have a fielder's choice. It's a ground ball to McKay. He flips to Piccolo. Kingman scores from third, so we give an RBI to Henderson. And Martin is wiped out 4-6. So with two outs, it's just Henderson on first. It's a 4-1. It's a 4-1 Oakland lead. Now, a run scored, so we make another deduction from Norris. Working our way to 13, he's got 6 so far. So with two outs, it's Scott Thompson. He should only have one T, but we're going to ignore that. And Thompson's 0 for 1. The pitch from Mike Norris is a 1-11. So we're back to an error check, and we've got an 11, which is outside of Norris's range, so it'll go to the batter card. But we're not going to forget our error check. 76 is in Thompson's error range. He's an LN. 24 for an LN is a ground ball to first base. Now, Dave Revering is going to make that play unless he makes an error, because our 1 tells us we have to do an error check. Dave Revering has an error rating of a 3 at first base. So, to check for the error, if we look at our error chart, we have an 11 to 21. If we roll 11 to 21 inclusive, it's going to be an error on Revering. We didn't. It's a 52. So Revering's going to take it to the bag himself, and that'll retire the Cubs. They get a run on no hits. They leave 1, and it's 4-1 as we go to the 7th inning stretch. All right, now for the Oakland Athletics. 9-1-2 coming up in the bottom of the 7th. Piccolo, Henderson, and Murphy. So Russell is right on the edge. So I'm going to start a relief pitcher in the bullpen. I always, no matter what sim I do, maybe you do this too, I say relief pitchers have to warm up for 2 batters before they can come in the game. So I'm going to have Dick Tidrow start to throw in the bullpen. and he'll be ready after Henderson bats. Here's Piccolo, 0 for 2. Pitch from Russell is a 5-7. That's in Rick's range. So we're going to look on Russell's card. It's a 24. 1B9 is a base hit to right field for Piccolo. And Oakland's off to a good start in the 7th. Ricky Henderson is 2 for 2 with a walk, a run scored, a ribby, a double. So he's caused all sorts of problems for the Cubs in this game. Russell the stretch, and the pitch to Henderson is a 5-8. So that's going to be on Ricky's card because it's outside of Russell's 7. Here's Henderson. It's an 86. So it's in Ricky's out range. He's an RN. So it's a 76. And that is a fly ball to center field. Jerry Martin is under it. And with a man at first, there's no advance. And there's one down in the 7th. Here comes Dwayne Murphy with Tony Armas on deck. Russell kicks and deals. It's a 1-8. That's going to be on Murphy's card because the 8 is outside Russell's 7. We have a 1, so there will be an error check. A 35 is going to be a strikeout on Murphy's card. He got him with the broccoli cauliflower medley and a little nacho cheese. Gas. Armas, 2 outs now. And the pitch to him is a 5-3, so that's on Russell's card. 28 is a strikeout on Russell's card, and that will retire the side. So we go to the 8th, and it's still 4-1 Oakland. Billy Martin's expectation, of course, was that his Oakland pitchers would finish what they started, so we'll see if Norris can do that. Barry Foote will lead off the 8th against Norris. And the pitch to Barry is a 5-5, so that's on Norris's card. A 61 is in Mike's out range. Foote is an RP. That's a 73 that we rolled, so that's hit in the air to left. Ricky Henderson going to make one of those sweeping catches he used to make, and there's one down in the 8th. Top of the order now with Ivan DeJesus. Okay, another one. A 2-3 will be on Norris's card. 21 is going to be a base hit to right field for DeJesus. So 1 out, 1 on for the Cubs. That moves Norris to 7 on his reductions, so we're getting there. Sizemore up at the plate now. 1 out, 1 on for the Cubs. Norris the stretch. The pitch to Sizemore is a 2-10. The 10 is outside Norris's range, so we're going to look at Sizemore's card. And it's a 75, which is in Ted's out range. It's an RN. 45 is a ground ball to short, G6. We have a runner at first base. The G6 is a 6-4-3 rally-killing, soul-crushing double play turned by Oakland. And that will end the Cub 8th inning. All right, so we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Oakland 4, Chicago 1. I'm going to try and get Russell through the 8th inning here. He'll face Revering, Gross, and Newman. Lefty, lefty, righty in the bottom of the 8th for Oakland. He's right on the edge of losing his endurance, so he's got 13. No, excuse me, he's got more than that. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's got 12. Nope, he's got 13. Missed a walk. So he's got 13. So he's 2 away from losing his endurance. Dave Revering will lead off. 4-1 Oakland, bottom of the 8th. 5-9 is outside of Russell's 2 through 7. So Revering's going to get it on his card. And it's a 15. That's a base hit up the middle. Revering is on with a single. Wayne Gross comes to the plate. Russell's at 14. Tidrow's up again. And Gross is 1 for 3. Pitch to him is a 3-8, so that's going to be on Gross's card. The 8 is outside of a 7. And Gross hits a 25. That's corked to center. It's going to get over Jerry Martin's head. And we'll see about sending Revering home. It's going to be a one-hopper off the wall. We'll look at Revering's base running speed. He is a C. Then we have to look at Jerry Martin's throwing arm, which is a T4. It's a pretty good one. So on our charts, we have first to home on a double to any outfield. We have a C base runner and a T4 throwing arm. Now with 2 outs, we would bump this 20 to 46. But for right now, it's 11 to 26 because there's nobody out. So Oakland is going to hold Revering at third. And that'll bring up Newman. All right, so how do we want to play this? We're going to walk Newman and bring in Tidrow with the bases loaded to face Heath. Going to play the infield in. Bases loaded, nobody out, bottom of the 8th. Oakland with a chance to bury the Cubs. Tidrow is a 2 through 8. The pitch from Tidrow is a 9, so it's going to be on Heath's card. The infield is in, hoping for a home to first double play. 78 is in Heath's out range. So we'll see where the out goes. It's a 13. Heath is an RN. So we have a 13. It's a line drive right at Tidrow. Now we look for a chance for a double play, and there isn't one. So Tidrow makes the catch, and there's one down. Now it's Dave McKay. Infield remains in for the Cubs. Still open for that home to first double play. Here's the pitch from Tidrow. It's a 1-5, so that's on Tidrow's card. The 1 clues us in that there's an error check coming. And here's the pitch. It's a 33. That's in Tidrow's strikeout range. And A struck him out. So Piccolo now. If Oakland was behind, I'd probably hit for the peach, but they're not, so I'm going to leave him in for his glove. Tidrow, base is still loaded, 2 outs now. And it's a 1-7. That'll be on Tidrow's card with an error check. A 54 is in the out range. Piccolo is an RN. A 58 for the RN is a line out to short. And I don't check for errors on lineouts, so that retires the side. So Tidrow comes in with bases loaded and nobody out and gets out of it. We're going to the 9th with your score: Oakland 4, Chicago 1. And Norris trying to finish the deal, but he's got to get through the meat of the Cubs order. Buckner, Kingman, and Ontiveros, 3, 4, 5 batters in the 9th. Buckner's 1 for 3. Norris's pitch is a 2-10. So that is outside of his 8 range. So that'll be on Buckner's card. Buckner with a 44. That's going to be on the out range. Buckner's an LN, so a 74 on the LN is hit to center field, right at Dwayne Murphy, and he's going to make the catch for out number 1. 1 gone in the 9th. Here's Kingman, reached on an error in the 7th and scored. Norris's pitch is a 1-11, so that'll be on Kingman's card with an error check. And Long hits it to center and deep. Back goes Murphy. Gone. A solo shot for Kingman adds 2 more to Norris's fatigue. Mike is up to 9 now. 13 is his limit. 4-2 ball game, Oakland. And Ontiveros comes to the plate. 0 for 2 for Steve. 2-6 is in Norris's range, so it'll be on his card. 61 is in the out zone for Norris. Ontiveros will be an LN. That's a 66 roll. And it's hitting the air to left. Ricky Henderson under it. And makes the catch for out number 2. So the last chance saloon will be Jerry Martin in this one. On deck is Ken Henderson. 6-9 will be on Martin's card. It's outside of Norris's 2-8 range. Martin, 45. Struck him out. That ends the ball game with Mike Norris's 6 strikeouts. So let's give you the totals for the victorious Oakland A's of 1980 vintage, who somehow made it into my box from my purchase, but hey, I'm not complaining. 4 runs on 9 hits, and they committed 1 error. The Cubs, 2 runs on 5 hits, and they committed 1 error. Winning pitcher is Norris, losing pitcher is Russell, and that is Status Pro with dice. Don't forget my polling. It starts on Monday to help determine the World Series I'll replay next month and the way that I'll compare Sims next month, the category that I'll compare Sims. Click on Kurt Berglund's Baseball World, click on the Join button, and you'll see all that you get with membership on my channel. Hey, have a great Friday. Thanks for being with me. And we'll see you soon. So long, everybody.